Like, look at this. In BC, they put sand. Like, they put sand. That's why the cars last longer without rust. So why don't they fucking grow a brain cell or two over here and do that? She is icy out today, boys. Whew. Bring your skates. Oh, tabarnak. We got that grill on the back there. I gotta make extra space. Hard to gauge. the summer ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I haven't been grabbing those.
What?
I've only been grabbing liners and like yellows.
Okay, there's a green pair in there. Is that yours?
No, no, you can take them. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I can't work with that.
Yeah. All right. Woohoo! Away le go! Oh ouais, niaisage là. Niaisage avec de snowbank de tabarnak. Ah. Frozen to the ground. En plus de ça. Cardboard frozen. Let's see.
That's like, you can get them anything and they'll just be happy because
hey,
it's a present. And then there's some people who are so picky.
J'essaie de rapidement de passer à autre chose puis de rester positif parce que je sais que c'est comme ça que je construis de futures victoires. Mais ça reste que oui, il y a beaucoup de moments encore cette année, l'année dernière qui ont été difficiles à digérer.
Ça lui arrive.
Cette année, ma défaite au premier tour à l'US Open, ma défaite au premier tour de...
You're not going to even ask that question. Encouraging bakers to feel, to smell, to hold the dough in your hands, to not rush the process, and more importantly, enjoy the process. Be in touch with it so that you feel it as you're going each step of the way.
I mean, that literally speaks to what you're doing. You have your hands in the dough, and yet because of maybe the times we live in or what have you, we are trying to rush through things. But you're telling people, while your hands are there, actually, I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the Tessa Yara book, like be in the moment while you're baking that bread.
Right, and also, you know, maybe today's bread is going to be better than yesterday's. Maybe it's going to be worse, but enjoy the process and like when wait a second, this bread is different than last time. Why? What did I do differently? Oh, I let the sourdough go 2 hours longer. Oh, it was a little bit warmer. Oh, yesterday I left it in the cooler for 24 hours and today I only did 18. You know, like you can kind of go through the process and kind of like review it in a way that's like each bake is a learning skill.
That's why you say that each loaf doesn't need to be a 10 out of 10, that 7 or 8 out of 10 is fine?
Yeah, absolutely. I no longer try to make perfect loaves. I try to have the process be an experience. And if the bread is a 10, I'm happy. If the bread is 8, I'm happy. Of course, you know, if I really mess something up, that's a little disappointing. But that doesn't happen too much these days.
It's hard in the Instagram era because everybody wants to take a picture of their bread when it's perfect and post it.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too.
Good to know. One of the other things that you talk about, and people who bake know this, is that when you bring it out, when you bring the loaf out of the oven, you need to stop and you have to listen. What are you listening for?
Well, when the bread is cooling, you get this kind of crackling, and especially if you bake the bread a little bit dark, not too dark, but you get some real caramelization. You get this fissure from the loaf cooling. I remember the very first time this happened to me. I was at a bakery in Paris, and the baker said, "Listen to me, listen to the music of the bread," and he puts the baguette next to my ear, and he's smiling from ear to ear, like, because I had never done that before, and he was so excited that I was experiencing that process for the very first time.
It's crackling away as it cools down.
Exactly. Exactly.
Do you name your sourdough starter? I ask because people, this is what you saw during the pandemic as well.
Yeah.
People become very attached to their sourdough starters. Sometimes they name them for reasons that are too long. Mine's called Carmine. But do you feel attached to your sourdough starter?
Oh, totally. We just got back to Maine, where I live now, and we were gone for about 3.5 weeks. And so, you know, I come home and I check my sourdough right away, and I literally only keep it maybe 40 grams in the refrigerator, and I check it. And so it's been 3 weeks, and then I fed it yesterday morning, getting ready to mix the dough last night, and it just comes alive so quickly. That in itself is like this magical process. Like, people say, well, can I kill my sourdough? Well, I mean, I think it's possible, maybe if you neglect it for 3 or 4 months, but I've had sourdoughs for 2 months sitting in the fridge, and you feed it again and off it goes.
But it is a thing, right? People do become attached to
Oh
the
yeah,
starter.
well, I'm definitely attached to it. I'm very, very careful. Like, if we have a lot of guests, or in the summer, if my family comes and they're in the refrigerator moving things around, and I open the fridge and my sourdough is not in its normal place, I'm like, oh my God, did someone take it? Did they throw it away? Like, it's a moment of panic, because I am attached to my 50 grams of sourdough I keep in my fridge.
So we were talking earlier, you said you're fine sometimes with the 8 out of 10 loaf.
Yep.
You also, after you retired, had a chance to live through this dream that you'd had, and you're not looking for an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10, you're looking for 10 out of 10, and competing in Le Grand Prix de la Baguette. What is that?
Well, in Paris, every year since 1993,
Le Grand
they
Prix
have this
de
competition,
Baguette.
and every baker
Grand
in
Prix
Paris is
Baguette.
entitled to bring 2 baguettes, and you have to get there between 10 and 11 a.m. You bring 2 baguettes, and they weigh them, they check the length, and then they lay all these baguettes out on a table. Maybe the table must be 40 feet long, and so you have this sea of baguettes, and it's something that I had always been fascinated about. And so I called a friend of mine who has a bakery in Paris, and I said, well, why don't we enter, and what do you think if I bake the bread? So I, along with this baker, we baked these 2 baguettes, and they were exactly the right weight and exactly the right length, and we took the baguettes there, and it's like this magical moment where you've got bakers showing up on bicycles, and bakers showing up on motorcycles and cars, and bakers of every size and shape and age showing up, and they drop the 2 baguettes off, and then all of the bakers are like lined up along the Seine, breaking baguettes and talking and waiting for the judges to decide, and so
It sounds very French and very much like Paris.
Oh my God, it was so much fun. And they have 3 teams of judges, and they each start out with 40 baguettes, and they bring it down to 20, and they bring it down to 10, and then each table picks one, and then the judges at the end all pick a winner, and that winner gets to deliver